Well, we had a bit of an exciting day today. 5 out of the 7 of those best penny stocks to buy now were nice and green. One of them was redder than my face is from being outside mowing the lawn. Maybe it's a little bit pink, or her colors are pink and pink. My colors are blush and bashful, mama. If you know that reference, you probably watched a 1990s chick flick called Steel Magnolias, but I digress. Let's get into those best penny stocks to buy now, and I also want to talk about the NASDAQ 100, give a quick shout out and a clap to that, woo, because it actually hit its all-time high today, not just the ETF QQQ that tracks it. So we're going to take a look at those, give a little bit of commentary on that momentarily because that market bias can impact those penny stocks that I was talking about, and we'll see where we go from here with those updated technicals. By the way, over at the Discord, you can find even more technicals and my buys and sells and the team of expert and what they have to share through the news, analyses, and buys and sells as well. All right, so for the Qs, we'll start here, then we'll go to the NASDAQ 100. What did we see here that was so important? Well, we actually closed above the resistance at 540.75. We found support down at the previous high of 539.40. As a matter of fact, we even poked down below it by 2 cents and then rapidly recovered, closing today at 541. Nice little close up above resistance. Now we get to call that support. Now it's the job of the market to keep it. Come on, bulls, you can do it. Stay in charge. Moving over to the NASDAQ 100 on this one, making a all-time high peak here, about 106 points up above the previous peak back on the 19th of February, and still closing back above that peak as well. Now we have that as support. Once again, it's up to the market to keep it. We do have some gaps to be aware of. You can see the gap from Monday to Tuesday, and you can also see the gap going back here from May 9th to May 12th. So we would need to be mindful of those. Most likely we'll fill them at some point in time. Maybe we see it happen sometimes that during this quarter between now and the end of September, maybe even as late as the end of October, and we'll see what the market does in between. I do think that we still have higher highs coming than we see right now, but we got to watch the news as it plays out because there's always something going on between tariffs, between the Fed, what we have going on in the jobs market. We get that jobs data at the beginning of July, which, wow, that's next week already. So this could be getting pretty intense here pretty soon. All right, NNDM. Here we go. The best penny stocks to buy now. I talked about this double bottom, and I said we needed to watch the moving averages. So not only did we have a double bottom with that buying pressure coming in, thank you. That was beautiful. So that was the first sign that we got. And then I said we had to get up above the 5 EMA. And today we actually had a nice candle with some buying pressure on that tail up above the 5 EMA. The RSI continuing to climb. The next sign is sitting on top of this yellow 13. This one I said was almost on the list. If we get a candle on top of the 13, I will put it on top of the list of the best penny stocks to buy now. And then after that, we're watching for the green to cross the yellow. That'd be a bullish crossover, and the RSI to go up over 50. And then I will change this flag that I have over on my list here from blue to green, meaning that it moves into officially the best penny stocks to buy now. But come on, NNDM, you can do it. Beam, BEEM, having a 3% day today by the close. It actually did the things that we needed to do. This one you guys get to watch on this video, me taking this flag and changing it from blue. I'll change it over to green. So this now takes the number 6 spot on the list for the best penny stocks to buy now. Now, mind you, it is not great to see that selling pressure come in, but I guess maybe that's bound to happen. So while we don't have necessarily a clear indication of why we got such selling pressure, it is something to watch. The RSI is still at 49.58, but if this continues, and we got some good volume today, if that buying pressure can continue, that we stay up above the 13, stay up above the 5, we should be able to get that 5 to cross the 13. The RSI should be able to cross up above 50, and then hopefully we see even more volume support helping to push that up even higher. So Beam in the number 6 spot. Lucid, 1 out of the 2 that was red today, needs to keep this bottom support. So now, mind you, this was at the bottom of the list. Now it's second to bottom. As a matter of fact, I think I even like Beam. We're going to slide it up above Lucid. So we'll put Beam in the number 5 slot. We'll put Lucid Motors in number 6 slot. LCID is the ticker, by the way. You can see that there in the background of the screen. So be on the watch for that. It got rejected off the 13, sold back down below the 5. It needs to retake those moving averages. It needs to be above them, trading above them to remain in that bullish position, at least in the near term. Overall, it is in the bearish position. That is the overall sentiment. Just to be clear, for Lucid, we are seeing this triple bottom, lots of buying pressure coming up off this bottom, trying to pick it up off support levels. We have to keep this trend line here as support for us. If we lose that trend line, this thing loses its spot on the list. Just to be clear, that's why it is at the bottom. But I do keep my fingers crossed that we're going to see that buying pressure come in and that we can see those early signs taking place. Pacific Biosciences, PACB, once again, ticker is down, is in the background there if you need to see it. This is the daily chart that we're looking at. Taking a nice strong bounce off the 50, having some nice volume movement. RSI up over 50. Take a quick peek at weekly. Curling away from 50 at the moment. We need to retake that, and then on monthly, not yet climbing. We need to see signs of that climb. I think it all starts with this daily chart. I said we need to have the 50 as support. So far, we have it. We even closed up above the 13. The next thing is to also get up above that 5-period exponential moving average. Keep an eye out for PAC Bio. This one could push even higher than we had recently. This one could be pushing up more into that $2 range over the next several days to maybe even weeks, especially if we can keep the momentum going and we get a little bit more excitement coming into that buying for Pacific Biosciences based off of, there we go, this descending wedge pattern that we have happening right here. The price target, there it is, $2.16 is what we're looking for to pop out of that. So we're actually going to put the background on that to green instead of red, so it really stands out for us. That's if we get that movement upward, that excitement to it. And I will show you the simple moving averages for this one. And we actually have the 20 crossing the 50 with that 20 period support right on this. That's absolutely beautiful that it came back to the mean, found support, and then we got a nice little bounce with some volume coming off of that, and we're up above the 50 as well. Now to get the 50 turning around and putting in a positive slope instead of the negative slope that we have between the 50 and the 200. Once again, overall in bearish territory, but still sitting pretty in the number 4 slot. Number 3, Ocugen staying up above $1, keeping the 20-period simple moving average as support, seeing that golden cross, and as long as we have $1 support, I think we're in good shape to keep on watching this. That 20 is a good sign for us. And if we put up the exponential moving averages, we also have the 5 and the 13 still as support. We might lose it though. If we do lose it, that's going to be one of those first signs that maybe this thing continues to sell off. But right now the RSI is sitting pretty on the daily, on the weekly, and on the monthly. We're actually curling up. If we can get it to cross 50 on the monthly for the RSI, crossing into bullish territory, that really could set up a longer term trend for us for Ocugen. Ticker symbol OCGN. It's right there in the background for your screen. Pause it, take a screenshot if you need to. Now in the number 1 and 2 slots, QSI in the number 2 slot, having a beautiful day today, up 7.5%, nearly 7.5%, but showing high top wick on that one with a narrow body on this one. This one got a little bit beat up and battle tested. Really tried to have its breakout moment. Couldn't really overtake this previous peak that we have over here. There we go. There's the pivot for us at 215. We made it up to 214 before selling back down. Not enough yet to break that high that we have up there. The resistance up above that is 224 to 226. We'll see if it fills this gap and comes down and holds support right at about $1.89. So that's this previous peak that we have right here. If it holds that support, it can get that next launching point going. Beautiful day today, up 7.5%. This is why it's in the number 2 slot. It's up above the 5, the 13, the 50, and if we put up the simple moving averages on this one, we have the 20 above the 50, above the 200. A very bullish structure that's taking place for QSI, for the quantum stocks. It will be impacted by the rest of quantum. On the weekly, the RSI beautifully up there. RSI on the monthly sitting at 49.83. Fingers crossed that this one can keep pushing. We do want to watch the rest of quantum to see what's going there. Such thing as IONQ, QUBT, and there's some other ones that I failed. They're on here. If you want to pause it and zoom in on the video, you guys can check out the list of those, and I have a top 5 for those as well. So back to the penny stocks here. The BBAI, Big Bear AI, what in the world happened today? We had such a beautiful lead yesterday, 25% up, and then pulling back 8% today. And is the world over? Is it all doom and gloom? Does it lose the number 1 spot? And I'm going to say, not yet. I don't think it loses the number 1 spot yet. I think that right now we saw it pull back to about an expected level, and it really goes back to the Fibonacci retracement levels that we were at the 38.2 and pulled back to the 23.6. I'm going to show that for you, and it's pretty much pixel perfect the way that it moved. And after a 25% day, it's about what I would expect to see. It's not going to be a straight up journey. If we are going to make that move up to that $10 mark, it could take several days, it could take several weeks, and it could be a little bit difficult in order for us to get there. We'll keep our fingers crossed that this momentum can hold out and that we see a longer term trend for this one upward. So let's put up the technicals for this. Like I said, guys, you can see my buys and sells over at the Discord. Links in the description. Use code word DOCTOR, DOCTOR, when you sign up. That's going to give you that discount. So since we're at the monthly chart, let's talk about monthly stuff. We're up above the 20. We're up above the 50, which just has just a little bit. There's pretty much like 50 or 51 candles here for it to actually even have a 50 simple moving average, not enough for it to have a 200. And we pulled back to the top of this candle that's over here, which is absolutely beautiful and gorgeous to see. That top, by the way, was at 480 when we closed at 481, and we're at 45 in the post market. So to have that retest as support is a very strong thing. We don't want to lose that support along the way. So let's move from there into the weekly chart. RSI also just as beautiful here, and that high top wick, we need to change that. Hopefully tomorrow's a much stronger close. So we did do a bit of retracing as we look at the daily chart for BBAI. I'm not exactly sure what I just did to my technicals, but we'll make sure that it isn't affected. There we go. So big old retracement there. Like I said, giving up 8% after it made a 25% jump. And that doesn't feel nice to see that big red pepper, but it does. If you were thinking about taking a position, it does significantly de-risk that position. And so what did we see for this one? Well, up here, let me see if I can take down some of the technicals for you without a lot. Let me see, take off the pivots, take off the extensions, and there we go. So what do we see right there's the 38.2 that it touched today and then pulled back to the 23.6. So that, not a bad move for us. Also finding other support there in terms of the major pivots that we see it pulled back. We did lose that pivot that happens to be right at about 520. And so we'll see if that support holds for us. And we could pull back as far as about 445 before we get that next launching point. I'm hoping not, but you know, these things happen. If I have to pop it out of the number one spot, I do have to pop it out of the number one spot, and I will. But right now, I think it highly deserves, because of its position in the industry for AI and cybersecurity, I think that it absolutely deserves to be there. We'll see if it continues the hype of the next Palantir, as some people are touting it, if this volume can keep up on it, or if it's one that's going to be shorted into oblivion. Right now, it is up above the 20, the 50, and the 200 simple moving averages. And if we put up the EMAs that are on this, we're up above the 5, the 13, the 50. We're also probably up above the 200 EMA as well. These things reacting more readily to they're more reactive to the near-term movements that we have than the ones that happen to be farther back. So that is big old pullback today. I know that it doesn't feel too nice, but if you were looking for an entry, I gotta say entering at a much lower price down below $5 is much nicer than entering when you're closer to $6. So am I happy about today? 5 for 7 best penny stocks to buy now, turning green? Absolutely. Big Bear AI, is it over and done with? I don't think so. I don't think that move is done yet. I still think that these are alive and kicking, and we'll see if we can move NNDM up into the best penny stocks to buy now list from that double bottom that it currently has. And Lucid, let's keep our fingers crossed that it can stay on the list. Guys, down in the description of this video, you'll find that link for the Discord that I've mentioned a couple times. Code word DOCTOR gets you 50% off your first month sign up. And that's when you choose the earner tier, which gets you unrestricted access to everything that's offered to the community members. 1,000 members have already signed up and are loving everything that's over there, supporting the journeys towards financial freedom and showing you how to build alpha in your portfolios, sharing our analyses, the news we find, the plays that we happen to take advantage of. Not only the community members, but also the other panel experts that are over there sharing their knowledge and insights into the financial markets. And if you guys want to learn more about technical analysis, how to read it, how to trade using it, how to use options to really amp up that alpha in your portfolio, there's some coursework through Stockmo Academy. Code word DOCTOR also gets you a discount on those courses. They are a one-time fee for lifetime access. So that means that you get one-time big fat discount for those courses. And if you want a further discount on the courses, bundle the two together and use code word DOCTOR. That's going to save you the most. Guys, let me know what you think of the penny stocks down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.